California, man, Los Angeles, Tarzana, Woodland Hills. This is the 86th episode of the Morning Joint Podcast. I'm your host, Joey JayPing. We've got a great morning joint today. We're starting things off with a delicious little hash hole. And I can tell you right now that we're holding. And so on today's episode, we're going to be talking through some cannabis news from the last week. I'm going to give you guys some updates on the NBA playoffs. And I'm also going to give you guys some updates on the UFC event from this last weekend called UFC St. Louis. And so I'm really excited. I appreciate you guys for hanging out. Sorry for the delay. It's been some time since I've done an episode. But don't worry, we're still here. We're still doing these episodes. Right now, I'm just trying to get this shared to my LinkedIn so that motherfuckers can hang out and watch it. While I got you guys, though, today, you know, it's always love. It's always love. We're always looking for guests to feature, stories, highlights, all kinds of good stuff. All right, you guys ready for this? All right, here we go, you guys. So the first story, we're going to start off with the cannabis stories. One of the first stories that I really am excited to touch base on, Illinois issued 35 more retail licenses for social equity. So this story first appeared on MJ Biz Daily. They've issued 35 more conditional adult use retail licenses to social equity applicants. The 35 recipients were among a group of 55 applicants selected from Illinois' social equity criteria lottery. It was held in July 2023. Another 13 of those 55 applicants will receive their conditional retail licenses soon, while 7 applicants did not meet the licensing criteria or otherwise could not be issued conditional licenses. In regions of the state where no conditional social equity retail licenses were awarded, applicants who were selected next in the July 2023 lottery will be contacted by the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation, the entity responsible for issuing the permits. Retailers may begin adult use sales only after they receive their full license. Illinois currently has 202 operating adult use stores, 92 of which are social equity licensees. According to the release, 108 applicants selected in the 2022 social equity lotteries are still working towards their full licenses. A complete list of retail licenses is available on this article. Some good information for you guys. All right, now what's the second story? This is a good one. This one caught my eye. It was kind of funny at first, but then as I read into it, this is a pretty serious thing. Ohio officials are considering adding female orgasmic disorder as a qualifying condition for medical cannabis. A new study recently found, here you go, ahead of a decision by Ohio officials on whether to add female orgasmic disorder, FOD, as a qualifying condition for the state's medical marijuana program. A new study highlights the benefits that researchers say cannabis could offer people with the condition, including increased orgasm ease and satisfaction. The 10-page study, published in the journal Sexual Medicine, draws on a 2022 survey of sexually active women who used cannabis. Among those who experienced challenges in achieving orgasm, more than 7 in 10 said cannabis use increased orgasm ease, 71%, and frequency, 72.9%, and 2/3 said it improved orgasm satisfaction. Quote unquote. The results corroborate 50 years of anecdotal and learned speculation about cannabis helping women with FOD, the paper says. The research found that cannabis use increased orgasm frequency, eased orgasm difficulty, and improved orgasm satisfaction. At the same time, the results opened new areas of discussion. If you guys are trying to get off, you guys are going to have to cough. You're going to have to smoke some weed. For example, results of the survey found that women with one or more mental health diagnoses who used cannabis before partnered sex had, quote unquote, a more positive orgasm response regardless of whether they have FOD, with which authors noted was, quote unquote, consistent with research finding that women with FOD experience high rates of mental health diagnoses, prescription drug use, or PTSD. Anxiety was one area of significant overlap with FOD. Women with anxiety disorders represented 44%, 172 out of 387 women in the study, the research found. There were they were 3.5 times more likely to have FOD than non-anxious women. That is powerful. That is powerful. All right. Another new finding was that marijuana use resulted in more orgasm for women who were survivors of sexual abuse. Sexual abuse survivors' number one sexual complaint is orgasm difficulty, the report says. Coupled with high rates of PTSD, the study revealed that 32% more women with sexual abuse histories reported FOD than women without it. THC and cannabis could be helping in those situations through the reduction of quote-unquote activity in the hippocampus and amygdala, the parts of the brain that store and react to traumatic memories. This activity may play a role in extinguishing traumatic memories and result in a more positive orgasm experience. A separate report from the same dataset by the same authors, clinical psychologists Suzanne Mulville and Jordan Tischler, a doctor at the Association of Cannabinoid Specialists and the company Inhale MD, was published in March by the Journey of Sexual Medicine in a shorter 2-page form. The latest publication comes ahead of a board meeting on Wednesday of Ohio State Medical Board, where a medical marijuana committee has been considering adding FOD as a qualifying condition for the state's medical cannabis program. Following a meeting of that committee, the full board may vote on the proposal. As for how marijuana might benefit people with FOD, the new sexual medicine report points to a few possible theories. Among them is dishabitation theory, the idea that cannabis lessens the routine of habits such as cognitive distraction, a known FOD cause. Neuroplasticity theory, meanwhile, proposes that some women learn to orgasm while using cannabis, as seen in comments in the study and anecdotally. Cannabis and endocannabinoids, the cannabinoids created by the human body, are increasingly recognized for their roles in natural development processes, including brain cell growth and neuroplasticity, the study says. The research found that cannabis use did not help all women orgasm. Quote unquote, among survey respondents, it says 4% reported never having an orgasm, even though they used cannabis before partner sex. Because of the surveyed methodology, the report says findings may not be generalizable to women who rarely use or do not use cannabis before sex, women who have never had an orgasm, or women who do not have female genitalia, quote unquote. Further, the study didn't notate the type or amount of cannabis use. Sorry, there's a typo here. My brain's fucking it up. Amid the growing evidence, Ohio is one of at least 4 states that have considered adding FOD as a qualifying condition this year, along with Illinois, New Mexico, and Connecticut. So, what do you guys think about that, huh? I think that's pretty helpful. I think that's pretty huge. I mean, ultimately, we want people to live their life the way that we're all meant to. All right, we're going to move to the next story. You guys ready? We got more stories. Cannabis. The Minnesota Constitution gives growers the right to sell their own product. I don't know if you guys saw this one coming out of Marijuana Moment. The first, here it is, quote unquote, any person may sell or peddle the products of the farm or garden occupied and cultivated by him without obtaining a license, therefore. Wow. All right, here we go. 4 residents who grow small amounts of cannabis at home, which is legal under the new law, are suing the Office of Cannabis Management, OCM, saying that they should be able to sell it under a provision in the state's constitution. The lawsuit, which names OCM's interim director Charlene Briner and state attorney general Keith Ellison, was filed Tuesday in Ramsey County District Court and challenges the provision in the state's new law stating that only those licensed by the state can sell it. Those licenses are not expected to be granted until next spring and are expected to be competitive. The plaintiff, citing Article 13, Section 7 of the Constitution, challenged the state's authority to prevent the sale of cannabis by the farmer who grows it. Quote, no license required to peddle. Any person may sell or peddle the product of the farm or garden occupied and cultivated by him without obtaining a license, therefore, says the provision adopted 120 years ago. That provision resulted from the arrest of a farmer who was selling his SS mounts on the street of Minneapolis without a peddler's permit. When hemp and cannabis were legal, the few court cases brought under the provision said no one could sell it, even the farmer who grew it. But when it became legal to grow and possess on August 1st, 2023, did the legal calculus change? That's the argument brought by 4 state residents who are medical cannabis. 3 of the 4 are medical cannabis patients. Plaintiff McClellan's plants produce more product than he can reasonably consume for recreational or medicinal purposes, the lawsuit states. The costs of growing at home are significant. The costs include equipment for proper cultivation, as well as additional expenses in order to be statutorily compliant and cultivate his medicine within his home. Plaintiff McClellan cannot reasonably consume all cannabis that he has cultivated in his home for his medicinal purposes. As a patient who has endured the struggle of gaining access to affordable and safe medical marijuana, Plaintiff McClellan would like to offset the cost of growing cannabis by selling the excess crop to other similarly situated individuals. The suit asked the court to declare that people who grow their own cannabis at home do not need to obtain a license to sell their product, and it asked the court to block the state from bringing any criminal enforcement of the sale of cannabis produced from home cultivation pursuant to the constitutional provision based on the absence of a license to do so. Here's the quote I'll leave you guys on. All I can tell you for now is that we're reviewing the lawsuit, which of course was only filed this week. So, more to come, you guys. More to come. I'm back live covering cannabis, sports, and music. Let's go. Okay, you guys, this is the 86th motherfucking episode. All right, we've been through this a lot. You guys know the deal. Okay, we talk about music, we talk about cannabis, we talk about weed. All right, we're talking about the weed right now. This episode is going to be heavy cannabis, heavy sports, but that's because you guys already know what's going on with the Drake and Kendrick beef. I'm not here to stir that pot. I just am here to tell you that I will follow suit. I think Family Matters is probably the best record, but I definitely feel like Kendrick's Not Like Us is definitely the hottest song. So that's my thoughts. Kendrick Drake beef. Right now I'm tipping the hat to Kendrick, but for right now we're back to the cannabis. We're not done. We got more cannabis stories. Don't forget, you guys, this episode is brought to you guys by RMR Legacy Smalls, available in Washington State. Make sure if you guys are anywhere near the Seattle area or Spokane or Eastern Washington in the middle, make sure you guys tap in. I'm happy to point you in the direction of where you guys can buy our weed. All right. Okay, cool. We got some more. Sliding over to Colorado. We're on our last 2 cannabis stories. Tap in. I don't want to lose you guys yet. All right. So in Colorado, lawmakers have approved a bill where the cannabis retailers can sell food. And I think I put food and drink. I don't think that's accurate. Oh, it is. We'll be allowed to sell food and beverages. Okay, perfect. So let's just dive right in, all right? The measure, which also relaxes other restrictions, permits cannabis retailers to sell non-marijuana consumable products, including food, as long as sales of such product do not account for more than 20% of overall revenue. Wow, what a fucking bullshit. What kind of stipulation is that? Approved Wednesday by the Colorado General Assembly, the bipartisan Senate Bill 24-46 also, here we go, allows businesses to renew licenses every 2 years instead of annually, permits operators with multiple licenses to use a single unified application process, empowers the State Marijuana Enforcement Division, the MED, to ditch a requirement for radio frequency identification tags on regulated marijuana by 2027, allows retesting if a product has failed a test. The measure also removes the requirement that products that fail testing be labeled as such as long as they pass a subsequent test. That's an interesting one. Permits interstate trade in genetic material. Okay, that's interesting right there. So Colorado approves the bill. There's multiple things that go into this bill. Let's go through it again. Permits interstate trade in genetic material. That means clones. That means genetics. That means seeds. Let's go. That's huge. Allows retesting if a product has failed a test. So that's exciting because that means a product could fail a test, get retested, and then go back out if it passes that test. As consumers, we're wondering, well, why would that matter? Well, the reality is that without true standardized methodology across all states, across all boards, across everything, everywhere, there's just not one way to do it. And I just feel like there's definitely higher margin of error within the current processes, right? And so as a brand, I like the ability that if my product fails a test, I can retest it and it can not be stickered as having failed a previous test. But at the end of the day, I honestly don't really have too much of an opinion on this. I just like that it's able to happen. I give the brands more flexibility. No RFID tags on regulated marijuana by 2027. I find that to be pretty interesting. I support not having to tag all the plants from a waste standpoint, but I also want to understand how are they going to track and trace these plants at the end of the day? Like, what is the solution that isn't wasteful? Permits operators in multiple licenses to use a single unified application process. Well, it'd be nice if our governing bodies for cannabis, if their technology could level up to the world of regularity. Meaning, why isn't there already a single unified application process? Like, I apologize in my apologies for being rude about it, but it's like this is one of the many examples where cannabis doesn't get treated the same as other stuff, the same oversight, the same budgets, the same everything in terms of or technology in this case. It's just frustrating to me that now they're approving a bill where people with multiple licenses can use a single unified application process. Where was this thought process at like a decade ago? Like, come on, man. It's not like humans are so much smarter today. They just didn't really take a step back and look at how to create a framework, and that's frustrating. Allows businesses to renew licenses every 2 years instead of annually. Yeah, give people the ability to pay more money to do it every couple years if they're going to be around. I don't see too crazy for that. Definitely in support of, again, just more opportunities and resources for the brands, the retailers. Quote unquote, here you guys go. As the first state to legalize and regulate cannabis, Colorado established a number of rules that were perceived as necessary then, but which we know are unnecessarily and overly burdensome. Chuck Smith, board president at Colorado, leads an advocacy organization that supported the bill, said in a statement. We appreciate Colorado lawmakers and regulators making it a priority to start chipping away at some of our state's more arbitrary and problematic policies. The bill now heads to Democratic Governor Jerry Polis, who is expected to sign it into law. All right, well, that's exciting, you guys. Big moves, big moves, big moves. All right, that's exciting. That's exciting. Colorado. When was the last time Colorado was in the news, you guys? Come on, man. Let's go. Literally. And not only that, actually, I do know the last time Colorado was in the news. I just read an article the other day that says 420 in Colorado sucked again. It sucked when I went there in 2017 because, oh my God, it was the first state to legalize. You got to come to Colorado, come to Denver. Get there. It snowed. Wow. Couldn't smoke anywhere, like out and about in the events. The whole legalization of adult use cannabis in Colorado just crushed the culture in a lot of ways. And it made it not as exciting as it used to be. Words from Coloradans. And also words from me having visited. Now, I did read an article the other day that said that the same issue was again with 420, where the events just were not popping, and couldn't really smoke and do all the things you wanted to do. So, Colorado, hopefully you guys get some event licenses. Please get out there and vote. Please get out there and change your policies and your legislation and all that. You guys got to get out there. You got to get in the streets. Okay, you guys ready? We're going to transition over to the next topic. You guys ready? Okay, the second round of the NBA playoffs is upon us. Okay, yesterday we saw the Denver Nuggets play the Minnesota Timberwolves. We also saw the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks in an absolutely disgusting annihilation. I believe they won by 32, 36 points, the Pacers did, and it honestly wasn't even that close. At one point, I believe they got to 41. And so just yesterday's playoffs, very much an exciting, right? We saw March Madness get more attraction. Shout out to Caitlin Clark. Now we're full force into the NBA playoffs. Some of the biggest name talent in the world. We're watching Anthony Edwards come into full force, come into his full maturity. I think he's 22 years old, 23 years old, maybe. Quickly becoming one of the best players in the world. I just want to take you through some of these highlights from yesterday's game there. Again, Knicks and Pacers will be the first one we're going to talk about here.
Game 3, this is his first
This is the full game highlights, but I just want you guys to see it was very quickly 29 to 11, right? Was that last little score before this popped off? These damn ads. Give me 1 second to pull this up for you guys. All right, so you guys can see this here right now, right? 32 to 11, and it's not even the end of the first quarter. So the game was really out of hand from the beginning, from 3-point shots to alley-oops. There was just statement moments throughout this whole game that the Knicks were really just never able to recover from. The offensive boards went towards Indianapolis all night. Brunson was looking flat the whole evening. He was rimming shots, bricking. It was bad. I mean, there is one little positive highlight there. I believe that was Alex Burks for 3. But you'll notice that even then, like they're already down 17 in the second. It just really wasn't ever close. We're gonna fast forward a little bit further into the game. You guys will notice again that the score just really was out of hand that entire game. It just was not close. These damn ads. It's okay. You guys bear with me. All right. So even here, right, they're down 28 at the beginning of the third quarter. It really was not close. All right. Absolutely disgusting of a game. So, and then we saw, so on that one, the Knicks got their ass whooped. And then we saw the Nuggets and the Timberwolves, right? Another great situation where we get to see some of the best talent. Nikola Jokic just won his 3rd MVP, rightfully so, as his team's still in the playoffs. Just absolutely incredible. All right, I know that these are going to be ready now. All right, here you guys go. Let's watch some of these playoffs real quick, some of these highlights. So the nice thing about the Nuggets is that they have good ball movement. When Jokic is running up the floor, he just has such good ball vision, or court vision, that he can distribute the ball to pretty much anywhere. Right there, you saw Minnesota. They're already up 5 in this game. Obviously, Anthony Edwards and the team already going hard at the basket. But again, just with the passing, Denver is very, very strong at making the extra pass. They're not so great at necessarily the running and gunning like some of these other young teams are, but they're definitely able to win that half-court game and play that much more efficiently than so many other teams. And so it might seem, right, like they don't know what they're doing sometimes, or like a little sloppy, but the reality is that they're always in control and they're moving at their own pace. And that's one of the reasons why we like Denver. It's why we like Minnesota. These are all the best teams that are left. And so it's been exciting. So we're going to keep covering the NBA. We're going to keep covering and sharing, our thoughts on the various sports. We've got a new team of young interns that are coming in to start covering UFC and basketball and football. And so definitely stay tuned as we start to explore more of that with you guys. We're going to move next over into UFC's St. Louis Fight Night from this Saturday. Wow. I hope you guys are excited to see. This was an incredible. It was an incredible evening. All right, here we go. So you guys ready? You guys good? Hold on. All right. Let's go. Knee to the face to start. And then bam. Just pounding. Not the guy's not doing nothing. This is Derek Lewis. The guy who always takes off his pants at the end of the fight. This was arguably the highlight of the night. However, there was a massive kick straight to the chin. I forget what fighter that was. That was a hell of an evening. fight for that. Let's see if I can pull it. Right there. Yeah, it was nasty. Some really, really strong moments there.
Right here, big hook.
Got him.
Already sent Serkinov, and then he follows up with the right uppercut. You know, I mean, nasty.
Absolutely terrorize some of these guys, man. Oh my god. Oh my god. St. Louis was a fun evening. There was a lot of great fights on both cards. Some highlight moments. I definitely encourage you guys pop over to the ESPN MMA Instagram account, give them a follow. Keep your eyes peeled for us posting some moments going forward on our Instagram account at respectmyregion.usa. We'll have guests on some of these future episodes, and it will be my effort to be back here again next week. So I love you guys. This was episode 86 of the RMR podcast. I'm your host, Joey JayPing. This episode is brought to you guys by RMR Legacy Smalls, premium cannabis that we sell in Washington. You can still go buy it at our partners here in California. If you're anywhere in Los Angeles, you can order our weed from Green Lion Delivery. Tap in, support, show us some love. We appreciate y'all. If you're in Spokane, Washington, go to Toker Friendly in Airway Heights. If you're anywhere in Seattle, go to the bakery. Go to Greenside. Go to Khalifa. All right, they got us. There's some really dope people out there, some really dope weed. I recommend the Georgia Pie, the Gary Payton, the Sourdough. Give it a shot. Anyways, I love you guys. Have a great week. We got some sales to do. We got some content to do. I'll update you guys on everything we got done this next week, and I'll see you guys soon. I love y'all. We out. Episode 86.